No worries.
Cool. All right, very good. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's How to Get Your First Multifamily Investment Deal. My name is Annabelle Pacheco. I am a real estate investor. I've been a broker for 24 years and just part of a global real estate company called eXp Realty. Can I ask, can you guys please make sure you're muted because there's like a sound. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. All right, very good. My goal really for this call, and this is just a weekly call that I do, is to share with you guys each week the steps that I took in purchasing my first multifamily deal. I also like to bring in guest speakers from the multifamily space to just share with us and just expand our knowledge so that you guys can go out there and do this for yourselves. I encourage everyone to just participate, ask questions. This is a really safe platform, and it's just really here for you guys to share information with each other and just learn from each other and connect from each other. Feel free to put down your information on the chat if you want others to know who you are, and just, again, just a safe place to connect and learn. I'm not selling anything. I'm not offering anyone anything at all. And I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my story with everyone and, what I've done. Just a little bit about myself. I started in the mortgage industry in the mid-90s, purchased over 100 properties throughout my career, a lot of rehab and flips. Also, that was with a lot of single family residences, did 2 to 4 units as well. Kept those, managed those, and again, those were sold. In 2001, I deviated a bit from real estate and built a 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had a staff of 15 people, managers, chefs, and servers. And last 10 years, I focused my business 100% in just representing clients in both residential and commercial real estate. Now, I purchased my first multifamily deal, 34 doors in Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas in 2015. And really what drove me to this point, it was, I was just looking for a way to create that just cash flow and generational wealth. And what better than multifamily? And so here are a few reasons why I invested in multifamily. Number one was I was really looking for cash flow. I had just been used to a remodel and, flip. And it was just a constant, just flip. And I was at a point where I thought, okay, you know what, I've done this enough. I've had the experience. I think we could do this with multifamily, and multifamily for sure will give you that cash flow. Number two was being able, I realized that the tenants would be able to pay off our loan. And you just, this is again on a monthly basis, with that rent, you're paying down the loan. Number three, it was appreciation, right? You're buying a property and you're really hoping that it's going to appreciate over the long run. And number four is the tax benefits. There's many, there's additional tax benefits here, but these are the two that for me were really big. And number one was depreciation, which allows you to expense that portion of the physical structure each year. And number two was 1031 exchange, which allows you to defer that capital gain taxes. And there's no limit to doing this. So if you decide you buy a property today and you hold it for a year, you do some improvements to it, and the value of that appreciates, you want to sell it, you can do a 1031 exchange. And if in another year, something else pops up or you want to scale, you can do this as many times, there's no limit. So I want to give you guys an example of what I was able to get myself into. And I'm sure many of you have heard value add, and that's exactly what it was. It was a value add multifamily deal. And value add is pretty much, I kind of put in here the definition, which is it just involves buying the worst property in the best neighborhood, then increasing its net operating income and the value of the property through those renovations. And that's exactly what I did. I found a property that needed needed a lot of work. And I was able to pick up these 34 doors for $850,000. Now, the beauty here, and I'm just, I'm sharing this with you guys. My intentions were never to get seller finance, but it just so happened that in conversation with the agent who happened to be the owner of this property, and I was a buyer who happened to be an agent, just having conversations with him, this opportunity came up, and it was awesome because, going through a lender can be difficult at times, or at least it's a little bit harder. This was really easy. I mean, yeah, I had to give them, maybe I had to give up more money, but I had enough funds to go into this project, and I knew that we needed to do some repairs, and it just made sense for me to ask the seller if he'd carry a note, and he did. He carried a note for 2 years, and this just really allowed us to go in full force and start remodeling, updating units, and increasing those rents. And by year 2, we were able to refinance the property, and it had appraised at almost, just double, $1.6 million. And at that time, we refinanced, cashed out. I cashed out all my money, and we're still at a 65% loan to value, and today have zero invested in the property. Property is worth $2.8 million. This here is exactly what we're all looking for, right? I'll give you a little picture of the property. It's 24 doors, one building that has one bedroom, has 24 doors, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And then we have another building that has 10 units, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. So really quick, I know I kind of blurted out a bunch of stuff. Any questions? Anyone currently own multifamily, looking to buy multifamily? Just kind of want to get an idea where we're at with everyone today. Anybody? Okay.
This is Nick Cates. I am looking to purchase multifamily, possibly in Texas or other places. I'm in Los Angeles, and I am looking to, because the return in Los Angeles, I own rental property in Los Angeles, but trying to buy more rental property here for cash flow is just, it's a hard nut to crack. So I'm looking at out of state as a possibility.
Awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately, California prices, unless you've got a lot of money and you're okay with like a 2 or 3%, 2 or 3 cap, it's just impossible. It's hard.
Or a negative return.
Or a negative return. You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, I'm glad you're on this call today, because I actually have a guest speaker who is he's a agent, commercial multifamily agent in Texas. John, are you going to have your camera on?
I don't know if this computer has a camera on it, but
okay.
I apologize for that.
Okay, well, you know what, John, I'm going to introduce John. He is originally from California, so he knows our market, and he's now in Dallas. He is a part of the Walter Group. He sold 18 apartment complexes throughout South Texas, totaling about $15 million. And he actually has a couple, a 40 unit and a 58 unit in Texas. And I asked him if he'd come on and join us and share this, just share these properties and these great opportunities that I know for a lot of us, might be of interest. So John, welcome to the call, and yeah, share what you have.
Awesome, and I appreciate you inviting me, and hello everybody. So yeah, a little bit about us. The Waller Group, we just sell Class B and C multifamily in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, the Southeast, and then the Midwest. A lot of those areas right now are some of the hottest markets in the country, like Phoenix, Dallas, Austin, North Carolina's got a lot of hot markets, Tennessee, Nashville, etc. I specialize just in South Texas. I actually own a 16-unit apartment complex as well, and as well as a duplex here in Dallas that I bought. But yeah, I have two properties that I shared with Annabelle. The first one is a 58-unit in Killeen, Texas. Killeen is central Texas, north of Austin, about 40 minutes. That one is much more of a value add deal. As Annabelle had mentioned, a value add means you're going to need to deploy money once you acquire the asset in the form of capital expenditures. And the goal of that is that you are able to push the essentially the rents of the property, which pushes the income, which in turn increases the value. So you get forced appreciation there. On this deal, it's probably a little bit more advanced, given that it's in kind of a lease up state and the current owners are about halfway through their renovations. They're looking to move their equity into a much larger asset that they're currently under contract on in Fort Worth. And this was actually one of their first deals. And so they had put right around $1 million into it. But there's probably still about maybe 100 or 200,000 left that we would consider kind of a light value add play. And that is just because the money will be going into the units. Something to look out for on assets pretty much anywhere in the country is if it's built before 1980, your plumbing and electrical will be points of concern. A lot of these 1980 and older properties have cast iron plumbing, which is now starting to crack and leak. And then some of the 70s properties, early 70s, had aluminum wiring, which is a known fire hazard, as well as the old Federal Pacific electrical boxes are prone to catching fire. So all that being said, property insurance companies do not like that, and they can be quite big capital expenditure bills that don't actually affect your rent, which means you're spending money that isn't going to make you money. So on this Killeen deal, they've actually done all the plumbing. It's all updated with PVC. They've actually done all the electrical as well. All the electrical boxes are upgraded with the new General Electric breaker boxes. It is copper wiring. One of the other largest ticket items are the roofs. These roofs are 4 to 5 years old. Flat roofs are typically not preferred. There is such a thing as a good flat roof, but in Texas we do get bad storms. Although Killeen is considered one of the better areas as far as that goes. As in the north we get hail and tornadoes, and in the south we get hurricanes.
So
Also,
John,
yeah.
just a quick question. So the property in Killeen, is that the 50? Is this 50 doors?
This is 58 units. Yep, and they're asking.
Okay,
And
58.
they're asking.
You want
Go
to
ahead, sorry.
just kind of give them a split, like 58, how many 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, rent, price?
So it's 58 units, 51 are 1 bedrooms, 1 baths at 538 square feet. And I apologize for not going over this earlier. I forgot you guys haven't seen the offering memorandum. 6 of them are 2 bedroom, 1 baths, 842 square feet. And there's a 3 bedroom, 1 bath. That's 1380 square feet. The 1 bedrooms are getting right now, the average rent is 554 and this kind of gives you an example of the value add aspect. On the original units that are outdated, they're getting made $400 in rent on a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, which obviously in California is extremely low, but here in Texas, in these smaller towns, not unheard of. On the renovated 1 bedroom, 1 bath, they're getting $650 in rent. And so they're spending about $5,000 a unit on flooring, appliances, refinishing the countertops, updating the lighting, repainting it, and they're able to get about a $200 rent bump increase. So the plan there is to do that with all the units, or a lot of people do it with 80%, 90% of the units, push all the rents up to $650 or to as much as they can. And then you have forced appreciation. You usually refinance from that point, pull your equity out, or you can sell it 1031 into another larger asset.
Can you tell us a little bit about the area, the location?
Yeah, so Killeen historically is right next to Fort Hood, which is the largest population-wise military base. In the past, it's been kind of a, I guess, negative on the market, but with all this North Austin growth in these towns like Georgetown, where they're getting Tesla, Dell, Samsung is building, there's so much growth in these Austin markets that the prices in Austin have gone through the roof. So Killeen is starting to become kind of a commuter feeder town down into these North Austin factories. And you can see that kind of in the trend between it used to be like 40% of the jobs in Killeen were government-based military contractor jobs, and now it's down to 30%, and we expect it to continue to go down as all that growth down there brings in more kind of contractor blue collar workers. Area around the property, I would consider it a C-class area. The median income is $36,000. In California, that's very low, but for here, it would be considered, yeah, maybe kind of lower mid-class. One of these small markets, again, if your rent's, $600,
Mhm.
36,000 goes a lot farther, and we have no income tax, obviously.
Okay. Let's see, anyone have any questions on that? So someone's saying here, Fort Hood seems like a cool community. Okay. Let's see here. So I guess something important to point out, like John mentioned, that this property was built before 1968, is that those big ticket items have been addressed, which is huge.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So plumbing, electrical, you said, copper wire, roof, electrical boxes, breakers. I mean, those things are huge. Is there a chiller system on this property?
There's not. It's central HVACs, and pretty much all of them are brand new as well.
And so are they individually, or is it just one big unit? Is this all bills paid? How does that work?
I need to double check. I'm pretty confident they have central HVAC and then individual water heaters for each unit. So, which is also rare for most properties built in the 60s and 70s. They'd obviously have something called a chiller system, which is what she asked about. We're seeing less and less of that, but it is quite a big expense to convert to central HVAC. And then a lot of them still have water boilers. In this day and age, it would be kind of commercial electric heater water boilers, but back then they'd be gas. I believe they took it out and they've added all individual water heaters. When it comes to the water, there's Class A buildings that have large commercial units, and it's kind of there's pros and cons to both options there, but central HVAC is definitely the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, that's a great.
Hey, John, this is Javier. In your area, in that area there, are you finding a lot of owner carrybacks? I mean, I know that that's what Annabelle did on her property, but is that common as of right now, just with this market?
I would say maybe 10 to 20% of the deals we do see that, especially if the deal has a portion of, or has a kind of a sticky story like this one, where it's going to need some CapEx done. I don't know if these owners would be interested in doing that, mostly because, again, they need to pull out every dollar they can to try to get into this other project. As they are kind of a syndication, they raise funds. But we do see that every now and then, and it's usually maybe a 2-year carryback, something like that, for various reasons.
Right. What about the Laredo property?
So the Laredo property, Laredo population.
He's got two. I'm sorry, John. He's got two
Of course.
opportunities right now. One in Killeen, which is 58 units, and then he's got another one in Laredo, which is 40 units. So let's hear that one.
So the Laredo one, Laredo is obviously near the border. Population of 260,000. This one I would consider much more stabilized, maybe light value add. This one was built in 2008. They're asking 3.175 million, which is 79,000 a door. The clean one is around 65,000 a door. This one is majority 1-1s as well. There's 32 1-1s at 525 square feet and 8 2-1s at 750 square feet. tenants pay for their own water, electric, trash, etc. There are laundry, washer and dryers in the 2 bedrooms, but there is a shared laundry room for the 1 bedrooms, which is a little unique. Typically on a 2008 build, we'd expect them all to be in the units, and that is maybe something to look at down the road. What's very common with the 2008 properties is you get tile flooring a lot, which is actually a good thing. Tile flooring is very easy to take care of and it lasts a while. 2008, we're getting to the point where the plumbing, electrical, HVACs, all that should be fine. Roofs are starting to get a little old, as most people haven't replaced their roofs from 2008. So you're at kind of like that 15-year mark, or kind of close to it. So that might be something to take a look at. And then it is due for an update. It's got kind of those early 2000s, mid 2000s cabinetry and clear handle fixtures. And so it would be considered kind of a light value add if you wanted to go in there, put in some granite countertops, paint all the cabinets that are brown, paint them white, add the modern looking kind of silver brushed, steel or aluminum handles, something like that, and kind of push the rents from that aspect. This property is self-managed. The guy built it himself. Oh, he built it in 2008. He's owned it ever since. He manages it himself. Typically, when you see that, you can expect there to be a little bit of, or the property to be a little bit below market. And that's just because, the longer you've owned the property, maybe these guys get a little complacent. The rents are a little bit low. Maybe they become friends with some of the tenants. They don't want to raise their rents, etc. So a lot of the owners that we have that have owned these properties for a long time, we tend to see that their rents are quite a bit lower.
Would they be interested? Would they consider seller finance?
Potentially. I haven't talked to him about it, but it is something that he might be open to. With any seller finance, they might be interested in it. They would probably ask, and with every seller finance that we've asked, they would still ask for something like a personal financial statement from the buyer, and usually 20 to 25% down payment.
Correct. Yeah. Did you give us the breakdown on the rents on that one?
Yes, the 1 bedrooms are going for the average rent $609, and the 2 bedroom 1 baths are going for $744 on average.
And you think that there is some light value add opportunity with this property?
Yeah. We would expect that. Yeah. And
were you saying like just more on the cosmetic end, like paint, exterior stuff, or are there any just like plumbing, electrical, those big ticket items? Are there any of those that have not been addressed on this property?
The only one that I would be concerned about is probably the roof. I don't think he's replaced the roof, so looking at a roof from 2008. Other than that, you're just looking at updating the countertops and the cabinets. And if you wanted to tile the bathrooms, you could. When you're doing your due diligence on these properties, you kind of look at the rent comps in the area. If no one else has tiled bathrooms and they're getting higher rent, maybe don't spend the money doing tiled bathrooms. If they do, and you think you can get it, that's an option.
Right. Someone here is asking, John, how much are the down payments for these properties?
Almost typically for pretty much every deal right now, with where the lending environment is at, you're looking at usually 25%. Now, sometimes if you're out of state and you don't own or / have a track record of multifamily, they might ask for a little bit more. A lot of it is going to depend on the financials with the property. Killeen will probably, I would err towards 25 to 30%. Laredo, probably 25%. If you're in a major market like Dallas, Austin, etc., you can, and the property is a bit larger and you have a good track record, they'll offer 20%.
Okay, awesome. Here's another question. Let's see here. They're looking, so I've got Michael's looking for value add multifamily to get under contract in the Midwest, Southeast, $2 to $10 million, 20 to 70-ish units. He's invested in limited partner in 2 syndications in Phoenix and San Antonio. Respectfully, this past December, I'm actively raising capital for syndication with my partners. I'm looking for possible rent increases of 20% after CapEx is completed, entry caps of 6 to 8, exit. caps of 5 or less. Okay. I mean, he put his email there if you want to send him. I'd say you want to put your info on the chat, John, that'd be great. Oh, perfect. You put the OM there.
Yep,
Awesome.
I'm gonna attach the other one too. I should have
Perfect.
probably done that to begin with. I didn't realize I did.
Yes, yes. So if you guys go into the chat, John just uploaded the OM for both properties. And that'll give you a better breakdown. I mean, visual of what the property is producing. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Anything else that you could share about? I mean, here you have 2 great opportunities. And if obviously you've got people from all over. We've got California, and I'm sure, I don't know. I mean, if you guys want to put in your chat where you're from, that'll give us an idea. That'd be great if you could put down where you're from so that we could take a look at that. But here you have 2 great opportunities. If I'm I'm going out to purchase my first, big multifamily deal. What am I looking at? What should I look at? New Jersey.
Are you asking me, or is it a general question?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you. I mean, it'd be great, because I'm sure we've got people here that some that are experienced, some that are not, what do you, maybe 5. I know there's a lot of stuff, but maybe top 5 things that they should be looking for.
I'd say there's really 2 avenues. If it's somebody like, it looks like Michael there, he's a syndicator. I'm guessing he's doing it probably full time. He's looking for apartments, and he's looking for a value add project. He's going to be spending full time. Then looking for a value add, something that you can get in there, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time with, because doing value add is quite a bit of project management. You're going to have to talk to contractors, go check everything. It's not as easy as just, oh, go do it and it'll get done. You do got to look over it. If you're kind of new and just trying to find something, I would look for something a little bit more stabilized, a little bit easier, something that's already occupied. That's, maybe go in as a unit, as somebody moves out, renovate it up a little bit, spend $5,000 on the unit, get it leased up again, and just kind of slowly turn, get your feet wet. The biggest, most important thing to know about multifamily is that management is extremely important. If you have a 100+ unit property and you're out of state and you don't pay any attention to it, and the manager is bad, it could go completely to vacant, and your entire investment goes down the drain. So we've seen disaster stories like that, and we can always recommend property management companies, but management is a huge component.
I agree. I mean, I was, I guess, lucky enough. I had the experience, and I was able to put together a manager, on site. She lived there in one of the units, and a handyman. And really those 2 were my eyes and ears to everything going on in the property. And I mean, there's weekly calls, and we're constantly, we weren't completely away from it, but there's just constant calls and contacts and making sure that we're on it. But we've got, we had the experience. I mean, we had flipped, hundreds. I mean, we've done a lot of houses out here. And so you kind of become familiar also with the cost of this. And my husband's a general contractor. So it was an easier transition for us to self-manage our place. But if you don't have that experience, and you're not familiar with pricing, I mean, you want to hire someone that is, so that you're not overspending, and it's getting done properly. This is definitely for someone that has that experience, that is familiar, and can do it on their own. Let's see here. You said that they will ask for personal. Oh yeah, talk a little bit about that. That'd be good.
So when you go for a loan, for a lot of deals this size, and if you don't have a lot of experience, you're probably going to get what's called a recourse loan, which means you're essentially liable for the loan. If you were to default, they could technically come after you. If the property were to become 0% occupied and no collections, they could technically come after you. And so they'll ask for your personal financial statement being, what are your income, what liabilities do you have, what assets do you have, et cetera. And then with commercial, so 5 or more units, a lot of it is going to be based on the property. How much income is the property making and what are its recurring expenses monthly? And then making sure that it meets their debt coverage service ratio, which is, will basically dictate how much down payment you have to put down. Eventually, when you get more experience, you can get into non-recourse loans, or if you have a really good relationship with the bank. And then that means that if you were hypothetically to default, they aren't supposed to be able to go after you and your personal assets. CPA, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, the CPA typically puts your financials together. Everyone has to report their property financials to your accountants for tax season. So right now we actually see a lot of financials coming in from owners that are interested in selling, and that's because you have to report it to the IRS. Now, third-party management companies might do the day-to-day. Some owners do it themselves, and then their CPA verifies it. Usually a bank will ask for 2 years of financial statements, and the seller essentially signs off saying that these are legitimate.
And I think I did, when I actually refinanced by year 2, I was able to do one of those loans. And I mean, I had already invested a whole lot of money. It really didn't, I wasn't going to lose all the money I had invested into this property. So it didn't, I don't know. To me, it was more like, okay, fine. You know what? God forbid if something happens, then it, and I am to lose it. Well, then it's just attached to that property, not to all my other stuff. But I had too much money on the line for it to even get to that point. So who puts together the financials for the property? Freddie, do you mean the property that you're going to, the proper, once you own the property, or to purchase a property? Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Any other questions? And I kind of wanted to, how much are the down payments for the, oh no, okay, I'm sorry, let me go here. Is excellent credit score a must? It's not, I mean, they really are looking at the performance of the property. They're going to look at your net worth. They're going to look at, they're going to look at everything, but really at the end of the day, it's that this property is performing. And John, you can add to that.
And yeah, most of it's going to be on the property performance. If it's a value add deal, it's going to be mostly their confidence in your underwriting, in the broker's underwriting, in what the value is post renovation. So making sure that you have the cash to do the renovations, and then making sure that they agree with you that after renovation, let's say the property is $3 million, after you put $500,000 in, it's worth $4 million, that there's that built-in equity there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Good questions. Can you take a construction loan for the value add?
Yes, and depending on how heavy the value add is, most people do take a form of a construction loan, hard money loan, kind of private, or essentially a short-term loan to help finance doing renovations. And then you would refinance out of that. In fact, I think the owners of the clean property right now are, I think, in a short-term loan, if I had to guess.
So the short-term construction loan, do you know how long those, what's a short term? Is it a year, 2 years?
Commercial deals, maybe 2 to 3 years. Interest only right now, 6 to 8% interest rate, which kind of factors out if you compare that with a normal loan with principal and interest, it's like a 4.5% interest rate, something around there, I think. Mm-hmm. And then they will finance some of the essentially after repair value. So if you think the property's worth 4 million after renovations and you're buying it for 3 million, they might finance 80% of the 4 million.
Okay. And do you have any of those lenders that you recommend that do construction loans?
Yeah, especially with construction loans, I usually go to mortgage brokers, and that's because a lot of construction loans are coming from private lenders, private individuals, stuff like that. And so those you definitely want to make sure you get a couple of bids on. Terms can fluctuate quite a bit. If you're just looking at standard loans, a lot of times it's talking to the bank you have a relationship with or a local bank on your first deal, and going with them is a good route. But usually on the construction loan side, we like to go to mortgage brokers and have them kind of bid it out.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, John, make sure you add your contact info on the chat for those that are, interested in connecting with you. I think this was great. I mean, very good information. And if you guys are looking to purchase, there's 2 great properties right now and opportunities in Texas. I know that some of you on this call may not want to go out into something like this on your own, and you're looking more on the syndicating. And I'll have someone in possibly either next week or the following week who is syndicating, and they're looking to bring in other investors. So, stay tuned on that for sure. But I thought that this was great. 2 opportunities right now that if you guys are looking to invest, connect with John. Definitely connect with John. I also actually in the chat, he did put the OM, so you guys can download that and take a look at it. I mean, I'm definitely reviewing that. Claudia, it's in Killeen and Laredo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I think that's about it. If no one else has any other questions, let's see here. Perfect. John's info is there. Take it down, connect with him. And yeah, John, thank you so much for joining. I know it was kind of short notice, but I thought it was great. We've been talking back and forth and kind of going through these properties, and I thought it'd be just great to kind of hear it out loud and just share it with everyone that's on here, because I mean that's the whole point of my weekly call. So it's great. Thank you so much for joining. Can I have
Absolutely.
Sure, let me just answer a couple questions here. Some direct, lots of swindlers out there. Yes, be careful for sure. And bamboos, that's right. Claudia, are you asking for my contact info or are you asking for John's contact info?
Both, to have. I'm new with it, so anything will be helpful.
Absolutely. Killeen is about 50 minutes or an hour away from Austin, right, John?
Yep, north of Austin.
Is this a duplex or what is it?
No.
This is a apartment complex, 58 unit apartment complex.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got here late.
I'm putting my info on the all right, so they fudged the numbers. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be really good at underwriting, and you have to make sure that you know what you're looking for or the numbers you're looking at to really just determine that and see if it makes sense. And obviously you connect with people that are professional that can also kind of explain and go through this, and I mean, at least you hope in the most honest way, right? And at the end of the day, it's, as the buyer, I mean, it's your due diligence. So my contact info is there. John's contact info is there. And you guys feel free to connect with me. There is, I mean, if I don't have the answer, I definitely have the, the resources. I know that who I can go to, and I can definitely connect you guys Same with syndication. So I'm part of some groups, and if you're interested, that's something that I discuss as well, and we'll probably go over in our next talk. But anyway, if no other questions, and everyone's good, I will. What's your story? Your broker. Thank you. I don't know. What do you mean, Freddie? What's my story?
I wouldn't know exactly. We have two buildings in front of each other. He's in the other one.
Okay.
Go ahead and
Are you a broker now? I'm a broker. I am a broker. I'm a current real estate broker. I represent clients in both residential, commercial, and I also am an investor. I mean, if I'm helping people buy and sell, I'm definitely going to be doing it myself. That's for sure. This is one of the best businesses out there, and I love what I do, and it's a great way to create wealth. Claudia, I'm located in California. I'm in Los Angeles area. So I'm just answering people's messages. I've got some direct ones and just group ones. So you come across the juicy properties first. Why share them with others? Because I don't have the money to buy them all. So we got to share. Share is caring, right? Sharing is caring. I don't have unlimited funds, but anyway, I mean.
That's what we do at EXP.
That's right. That's right,
share.
Javier. So Freddie, just connect with people, and you know what? People will start sharing juicy properties with you. That's what I've learned. You got to network, you got to talk, you got to connect, and you know what? And thanks, Claudia. And you know what? The properties will come. People will call you. I mean, it just naturally happens. So just keep connecting, talking, and come join me. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, like it, subscribe. You know that our businesses right now, it's just all about social media and just using these platforms to the best that we possibly can. And all I ask is that you guys kind of help me out on that. And I'll see you guys next week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me directly, and we'll say goodbye. All right. Take care and have a great day. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, and appreciate the invite. I'll talk to you later.
Yes. Thanks, John. Thank you so much for joining. We'll connect.
Thanks, Annabelle.
you.
Thanks, John.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.